All right, good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm the Director of Operations here at the Imagine America Foundation. I'm excited about today's career topic, the overlooked value of technical school certificates and associate degrees with Universal Technical Institute. Universal Technical Institute, or UTI as they're known by, is this country's leading provider of high-quality career-focused education at 13 locations nationwide, and they are also a 21-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 16,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation, our scholarship programs, and how your students can apply for our scholarship to attend this institution to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We heard from employers in all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation, again, is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background, so you're in great hands today. But before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, with questions and answers at the end of the presentation. You can submit questions during the presentation using the Q&A feature or the chat feature in this Zoom meeting. We will present any questions offered by the participants at the end of the meeting, or approximately 10:25, and address as many as possible and provide written responses and follow-up emails if necessary. But we will have a hard close at 10:30 a.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Lee, and good morning, everyone. I almost said afternoon because it's actually afternoon where I live in Missouri. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your morning to spend with me. Let's get right into the presentation. I want to spend just a minute or two talking to you about UTI. As Lee just said, we are the leading provider of technicians in the transportation industry. We have now 16 campuses nationwide. Just a few weeks ago, I could say 12, but we have now added new campuses in Austin, Texas, and in Miramar, Florida. And then, of course, we have acquired MIAT, which is the Michigan Institute of Aeronautic Technology. And we have a campus in Canton, Michigan, and another campus in Houston, Texas. The reason why I talk about the nationwide training, because that's a huge advantage to students, because it gives them great flexibility in seeking a career, because we are well known nationwide. You'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and say UTI and they wouldn't know who we are. So that is a huge advantage for our graduates. We offer 8 different STEM programs. Now that jumps to 17 STEM programs, but the basic ones are auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. Now you might look at these and say, well, gosh, that's just limited to those areas. No, quite the contrary. You could literally find hundreds of career opportunities within these 8 areas. For instance, if a student says, I love cars, love being around cars, but I really don't want to turn wrenches. Is there anything for me? Sure, they could be a claims adjuster for an insurance company. They're always looking for our graduates, because when you hit a deer, you see all the dents and dings on the outside. What you don't see are all the sensors and computer components that are destroyed on the inside, and a trained technician would know to look for that. So that's just one example of the many types of careers that you could find within these 8 STEM careers. What I really like talking about is the alliances with the manufacturers. I often say we're not training students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students for BMW, for Porsche, GM, Ford, all these companies that you see on this screen. These alliances are huge, is because that is who we are training for, and this is who works with our school to help get the technicians that they need. They're starving for technicians, so they're willing to help out any way they possibly can. So these industry relationships are very important to us, but they're also very important to our students, because they provide career opportunities with very stable, strong companies that pay very well, and have great benefits. But what I really want to talk to you today about is you and your relationship with your students, with parents, with other educators. And I want to start off first by talking about what is the economy looking for today? To succeed in the economy today, you need skills. That's what employers are looking for. They are looking for skills. What do you bring to the table? What can you do that is going to enhance their company, corporation, whatever it may be? There are two types of skills, however. There's the hard skills, like working on a car or a truck, welding, plumbing, whatever. But then there's also the soft skills, the communication skills, the writing skills. And we oftentimes pit one against the other. Well, gosh, if you have one, you don't need the other. That's not true. You actually need them both together. That's very important. Think about it. Where's customer service gone lately? You know, it's just not there anymore. People don't have the people skills that they once had. So that's one of the things that we really try to do at UTI. Yes, we're training students to work on cars and trucks and motorcycles and boats, all those things. But we're also drilling into them the soft skills that they're going to need. When you're working on someone's car, you're going to have to communicate with that customer. Hey, here's what's wrong with your car. Here's what's going to take to fix. And then here's how much it's going to cost. So those communication skills, both verbal and written, are very important. They go hand in hand. So to succeed in the modern economy today, we definitely need both working together. Here's a statistic that might surprise you. Nearly 94% of all certificates and nearly 3 out of 5 associate degrees are awarded today in career-oriented fields. You might think your students are going off to college, so you're assuming they're getting a bachelor's degree somewhere. In reality, they're not. They're looking for career-oriented fields, something that requires competency-based credentials. So they're looking for certificate programs, diploma programs, or maybe an associate degree program of some type. But 94% and then 60% of associate degrees. So quite a startling statistic, but really not that surprising because, you know, students today, that's what they're looking for. And then along the same lines, about 50% of students taking undergraduate coursework are enrolled in these very certificate and associate degree programs I was just talking about. You know these students today. They're very much in the now, in the present. They are not, they're not emailers. They're Snapchatters. They're texters. They want things now. They want immediate feedback. They don't want to be in school 4, 5, 6 years. They want to get in, get out, and get into their chosen field of study. And so that's why these type of programs are very enticing to students today, because they see that, hey, within a year's time, I can get the training I need, get out and start making money and starting to achieve my goals and my dreams that I've had all along. So very enticing to these students. When you're looking at certificate programs and technical degrees, those kind of things, there are 3 areas that I want you to look at. Area 1 is the industry relationships. Area 2, occupationally focused curriculum. And then area 3, employment assistance. Now, let me go back through each one. Industry relationships. That's what I was just showing you earlier on the slide, talking about the alliances we have with the manufacturers. This is who is going to hire our students. So we have to have those industry relationships. Now, some of your community colleges, they might have 1 or 2, but we have over 35. So we give students a lot of opportunities to get into the career that they want to get into. Occupationally focused curriculum. This benefits both the student and the employer. It's what's going to make you more marketable, because you're not going to take coursework that you don't need. The curriculum is occupationally focused. So it's focused on that given area. If you want to be a welder, if you want to be a diesel technician, if you want to be a motorcycle technician. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get the other skills, those soft skills, because you will. But this is what students are after. But this is also what employers are looking for too, because that student is going to be more marketable when they have the skills that employer is looking for off the bat. And then number three, employment assistance. Why are students going to school in the first place? To get employed. They want to get into their career. That's why they've chosen to go to school. So that employment assistance is very important. And these work together with each other. For instance, how are you going to have employment assistance if you don't have those industry relationships? When you have those industry relationships, then you have those companies that they're looking for are graduates. So they're going to take them. And then occupationally focused curriculum, this is what employers are looking for. When you come in and you've got the certifications that they're looking for, that's a no-brainer. They're going to hire you because you're ready to go. They don't have to spend a lot of time and money training you when you're already prepared. So the next time you're looking at a technical certificate program, see if they offer all three of these, because if they don't, that's a huge miss for the students as going into these programs. I'm going to shift gears here just a second and talk about a program we're really excited about, Ignite Worldwide. Ignite's an acronym, Inspiring Girls Now in the Technical Evolution. This program, we came by visiting with their CEO, and what it's all about is opening the door for girls to opportunities in STEM. You know, you don't know what you don't know. These girls, that it's like the party's been going on and they've never been invited. Well, that's what we're trying to change. Here at UTI, about 4% of our population is female. We want to change that. I mean, let's think about it. Half the population in the world today is female. So there should be more females in STEM related fields, but they're just not there right now. And so Ignite is a partnership that we're really excited about to to get more girls involved. The program was started by Kathy Rajfeller. She is the CEO and founder of Ignite Worldwide out of the Seattle schools in 1998. Their mantra, I love it. You can't be what you can't see. Think about it. When's the last time you saw a female welder, a female auto technician or diesel technician, a female carpenter? And then when you do see one, it's like it's a novelty, like, oh, wow, they've got a girl working for them. Wow, isn't that neat? I mean, it should be a novelty. It should be an everyday occurrence. We should see females in all these industries. We're just not seeing them yet. And so this program was created with Kathy. And so when we saw it, we got really excited about it because we thought, here is a great way to get girls more involved in STEM related fields. So it's a 4-part process. The first part is we have these girls come to our campus and we have women in STEM panels. We just had one yesterday in Sacramento, a huge success. We had 145 girls there, and the stories they told were just bring tears to your eyes. But we create this panel of women so these girls can ask them questions. You know, how did you get started yourself? Was it hard? Did people make fun of you? You know, these questions that girls are wanting to ask, and they don't know for sure, you know, if, you know, about getting into these kind of fields. Then we offer field trips so these girls can experience STEM. We, you know, get them into dealerships, get them into other kinds of companies where they can see STEM in action. And then the third part, giving them workshops where they can actually experience STEM. As I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. Like, for instance, at our school, we will have welding simulators. So the girls get a chance to weld and see what it's like in a safe environment. And these girls surprise themselves. They find out, wow, I'm really good at this. You know, I've never even thought about this as a career track. You know, I was just doing an event in New Jersey, and we had a female auto technician working for Jaguar and Range Rover, and she was first. She went to criminal justice, just didn't really enjoy it. She dropped out, and but she really loved working with her hands. And she discovered this. She said, "I just wish I'd known about this when I was in high school." So this is a great opportunity using Ignite, partnering with us to give girls that experience. And then finally, we encourage them to go to conferences, attend breakout sessions, be with other girls. So you see that you're not the only one out there. There are other girls just like you that want to get involved in these together. So kind of like strength in numbers, that they get to experience this together and find out that I'm not the only one out here. There are there are other girls just like me that want to get into STEM opportunities as well. Ignite Worldwide is gaining momentum for sure. They received the 2018 National Science Foundation Award. They received the Anita Borg Social Impact Award. They've been recognized by the Department of Education. And most recently, they're joining the STEM Ed Coalition in Washington, D.C., along with us. So we're really excited about that too, because that's going to give them even more credibility and give these girls even more opportunities to get into STEM related fields. So really exciting stuff that's happening. But here is what really caught our eye. This statistic here. A study was done in 2013 in the Seattle schools. Less than 5% of the girls in that area were involved in STEM related fields, less than 5%. And as I told you, at UTI, our female student population is about 4%. Within 3 years with Ignite, that jumped to over 50%. Wow, that is quite a jump. But really, it shouldn't be that surprising, because when you show girls what's out there, they get excited about it. You show them what's available to them. You show them that, yes, you can do this too. Because as of recently, they thought they couldn't do it. This is only for guys. Girls can't do this stuff. That is, nothing could be further from the truth there. So we're real excited about this statistic, and we're hoping that with our partnership with them, that we can even extend that further than where it is. One of the things that we love to do is offer students resources to help them make their dreams come true. You know, education is not cheap. So we work with organizations like FFA, Hot Rodders of Tomorrow, Skills USA, Top Tech Challenge, to offer scholarships and grants to these students so that they can make their education more affordable. We also work with foundations like Imagine America. As Lee told you, we have over 20 years partnership with Imagine America, and our scholarship redemption with this foundation is phenomenal. We're so excited and proud of it. That's why we love doing these webinars with Imagine America, because they're such a great partner, but they offer your students an opportunity to get scholarships to help make their education more affordable. But the other area that we love working with is with our alliance partners. And our newest one, for instance, is AGCO Corporation and Fendt Tractors. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Indianapolis, Indiana with the National FFA Convention, and we were in the same booth with Fendt Tractors. The students just flocked to the booth because, of course, they love this machinery. I mean, it's what Fendt has is unbelievable. I mean, it's cutting edge technology. It's just amazing what's there. But more importantly, what it shows the students is that education and industry go hand in hand. Industry needs technicians, but they need trained technicians. And that's where we come in, because we can help train those technicians so they can go to work for companies like AGCO. And we have, of course, other alliances that we work with too. The beauty of this one with AGCO is that our training facility, which is in our Lisle campus in Illinois, that AGCO pays for that 12-week training. And they also pay for the students' room and board. That's an amazing opportunity for a student, and they can come from anywhere in the country to that campus. So Fendt is working very hard to get technicians to come to work for them. Another thing that we love, we offer over $15 million in scholarships. But if anybody on this webinar can tell me how to get students to fill out scholarships, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you, because it's difficult, and you know what I'm talking about. You're probably chuckling right now. So what we have is a tuition reimbursement incentive program, or also known as TRIP. And what we do is we give these students an opportunity to get their education paid for. These companies offer TRIP packages that are anywhere from $10, $15, up to $40,000. It's amazing what they're offering now, but they need technicians so badly. They're willing to do this to help them. So they're offering hiring incentive packages. They're offering tool purchase assistance. They're offering sign-on bonuses. All these kind of things to help students to realize their dream. They're investing into our graduates to get them to come to work for them. You got to remember, all these dealerships are looking for the same people. They're competing for them. So they've got to make their dealership stand out above the others. Two key takeaways today. The first one, high school counselors and educators can strengthen all post-secondary education pathways, including certificate programs. In other words, this is no longer Plan B. This is no longer the backup plan. For so long, it's like, well, okay, if being a veterinarian doesn't work out, you could always work on cars. You could always be a plumber. You could always be a welder. That's not true. These are highly trained technicians, and they're well-paid technicians too. No longer should we be looking at this as like, oh, well, if something didn't work out, you can do this. These are plan A for these students. And you have a lot of them in your schools that this is their plan A. And you have to give them that credit that this is what they want to do. This is what they want to be. And so give them that opportunity by fostering this. Help them to get into the schools that they need, to get the training they need to realize their dreams. And then the second key takeaway here, higher education leaders are instrumental in enabling students to acquire education beyond high school. We have to remember, although some of your students, they'll go right to work after high school, and I'm not discounting that. Some students will do that and do very well with it. But for the most part, what are employers looking for? They're looking for skills. They want to know what you bring to them. So the more training you have, the more skills you have, then the more marketable you are in this industry. So we have to keep that in mind, that students need training, but they don't necessarily need a bachelor's degree. They need training that's going to fit their career pathway. So those are two of the huge takeaways that I wanted you to get today. I'm a retired educator. As a teacher, coach, high school administrator, I know what you guys do every day. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I know. Granted, I've never experienced the year you just did with COVID. Thank God I never had to deal with that, but you guys did an amazing job with it. So we know that you talk to students about the economy and job demand. We know you talk to them about career readiness and career pathways. We know you talk to them about scholarships and things that they have available to them too. How do we play into this? We want to partner with you. That's all we want to do. We want to back you up. All right. We want to be that third voice that students might need to hear for something to sink in. We can host your students at open houses. We just had a national open house event last Saturday, very successful, and we'll have more of those. So we'd love for your students to come in, and not only your students, but your parents too. We want them to see what's going on too. But we will also come to your school. We offer both in-person and virtual workshops. They're career readiness, career pathways, STEM workshops. They're not UTI infomercials. That's not the point here. The point is to talk with all of your students and show them what's out there available to them. We'll share the STEM fields that are available to them. We'll talk to them about scholarships and grants. We'll talk to them about the trip programs that we have. All these things we want to do. I also do professional development. So if your staff is looking for something like that, this is all paid for through UTI. Love to visit with your staff and help them with giving them ideas that they can use with their students or with parents. So that's all we want to do. We just want to partner with you because we do appreciate what you do and how hard you work. And then finally, this is my contact information. I'd love to hear from you. I love comments and questions. You've got my email address there early in the presentation. My phone number was there. That's many counselors. That's what they do. They'll reach out to me that way. And of course, when I'm out doing conferences, they will ask me for copies of my presentation, or they'll ask me for ideas that they can use with their parents, that they can use with their students, talking about their events that they have. So I'd love to do that with you. So please feel free to reach out to me. As I said earlier, all we want to do is partner with you. And I work with all levels of counselors, whether you're high school, middle school, or elementary. So don't feel left out because you're an elementary counselor. I have things for you too. So I just want to thank you so much for spending a small part of your morning with me. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of your school year, and thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. So if you have a question for either Dr. Coyle or myself, please feel free to type it into the Q&A feature. I've also thrown up a poll question. If you'd like someone to contact you about presenting similar information to your students, please indicate so on the poll so that we know who to reach out to after this is over. And Dr. Coyle, it does look like we have a question that came in. This person wants to know specifically about financial aid. Now, is Universal Technical Institute eligible to receive federal financial aid, and can someone fill out a FAFSA to go to school with you?
Absolutely. We are Title IV funded. So therefore, all of our students fill out a FAFSA to see what they qualify for. Then what we do, once we get that information back, then they are assigned to a financial aid advisor who will sit down with the student and their family and talk to them about all their options, all the scholarships that they may have available to them, and grants, to put together a package so that they can make their education more affordable.
All right, great. And okay, we have a second question. This person wants to know about, is there a GPA requirement in order to attend UTI?
No, there is not. What we do is we do a personal interview with the student and their parents. What we're looking for is the same thing that the service managers are looking for. We're going to ask them questions about their attendance, because that's important. If you don't go to school, you're probably not going to go to work, and service managers want to know that. We're going to talk to you about your background, your work ethic, those kind of things, but we don't really worry too much, because transcripts, let's face it, these type of students, they're probably going to have C, D, C, maybe a B in there, and then AAA. What are those A's? That's their shop classes. That's what they love to do. So we kind of know that. So we don't really put a requirement. We also don't require ACT or SAT scores.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be my follow-up question. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think, a lot of these students are maybe better in a hands-on environment rather than a classroom environment. And so that's great that you guys do interviews. Okay, this question, Dr. Coyle, we get all the time. It's about comparisons to community college and the ROI on a student's investment and costs. Could you kind of talk to this counselor a little bit about, what differentiates you and your school group in UTI versus a community college, and why would I consider UTI instead of a community college?
Well, absolutely. You're right. We do get this question all the time, and it's a fair question. I love it. First of all, we are not the same as a community college. Oftentimes school counselors will say, well, yeah, you get the same thing going down here. Why not just go there? No, because we're doing manufacturer specific training. But there's many other differences too. First of all, I always start off with the length of time you're going to be in school. You're going to be in community college 2 to 3 years. I mean, that's just it. You go a semester, you take off for Christmas, and you go back second semester, then you're off for the summer, then you do it again like that. At UTI, you're going to be here 9 to 17 months, depending upon the program. We go straight through. We don't take summers off. We don't do spring breaks because the industry doesn't. So we don't either. We want to acclimate these students to exactly what they're going to go into. The second part are the alliances with the manufacturers. This is huge. As I said earlier, community colleges will have 1 or 2. We've got over 35. So students have a huge menu of possible career opportunities for them. And these alliances with manufacturers are huge to the students because that's who's going to be hiring them. And then the third part, as I just mentioned, the TRIP program. That program is second to none. It gives students an opportunity to get their education paid for. But there is a catch. They've got to work for it. They're not going to give this out to just anybody. They're looking for the best technicians they can get their hands on. So they're going to look at your attendance, your professionalism, your attitude, and your grades. All those things are going to be playing it too as well. So that's really the biggest differences.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, just a few house cleaning items here. We have recorded this session. I'll be sending you the recording of this presentation likely tomorrow morning. There is a quick follow-up survey when you leave this meeting. If you wouldn't mind helping us out and providing any kind of feedback you could on that survey, it would be really helpful to us. Maybe there was something that you wish we had talked about a little bit more, or that you were hoping to get from this presentation and didn't get, or there's something that you could say, hey, I really like what you talked about here. Any kind of feedback you could provide would be very helpful to us as we do these in the future. But I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules today. I know that your time is demanded in many different directions, and we just really appreciate you carving out a little time for us today. I'd also like to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing with us today's presentation. and encourage each of you to contact him directly with any future questions related to UTI or scheduling workshops with your students. I'm going to make sure that I include his contact information along with the recording when I send that out to you tomorrow. But thank you all for joining us today, and this concludes our session. Thank you.